I do not have the confidence that we need to take such an important part of the nomination process, these debates, and trust them to folks who at the top levels are consulting Donald Trump before they do anything.
Well, that's DNC Chair Tom Perez making it official. Fox News is out, excluded from hosting any of the 12 Democratic primary debates over the next year. And we're back now with the panel. Well, as I was preparing for this panel, Jonathan, I realized you're the only one here who has no ties either to Fox News or to the Murdochs, so I'm going to let you start.
Rupert's Australian, though, so...
Yes, and you're both Australian, right? Right? So here's the question. What do you think of the DNC move, both as practical politics and on the merit? And I seriously, say what you think. Don't worry about hurting our feelings.
Sure. Well, I wasn't surprised by it. It showed to me that I expected that he might do something like this.
Tom Perez.
Tom Perez, the DNC chairman. We've seen since the 2016 election the Democratic activists and the primary voters. It's not just Fox they've railed against. They've railed against the New York Times for publishing the Hillary emails. They blamed, I see some of my competitors at the New York Times getting blamed for Donald Trump this day. We saw the backlash when CNN hired Sarah Isgur Flores from the Justice Department. They've now changed her role. So the decision didn't surprise me. What I thought was disingenuous was his explanation. He said, we wanted to see if we could expand we want to reach out to all voters. And then he said, but, this New Yorker story came out and that changed everything. The idea that it was a secret that there are certain anchors on your network, Sean Hannity would be one that I named, that are very, very close to the president, and that you could say, he went on stage at a rally, you could say he's an extension of the administration. This was not changed. There were no material facts in that New Yorker story that changed anything we already knew. And Sean Hannity's not moderating the debate. So, to me, it was just a political decision that he made to satisfy his activists.
We ask you for questions for the panel, and on the DNC decision to exclude Fox from any of the debates. We got this on Twitter from Royce von Blaricombe. What message should this send to the public at large when the #1 leading news network by far for quite some time is denied a debate by an entire political party because that party believes it cannot be treated fairly by that network? What does that say and speak to? Juan, pretty good question. What's your answer?
Well, I think that what we have to deal with is we're living in a time when the people who are Trump supporters tend to watch Fox. People who are antagonists towards the president tend to watch CNN or MSNBC. The audiences are divided. I think the Democratic base, wants nothing to do with Fox because of the strident pro-Trump voices in the primetime hour. But, I'm going to answer this very personally, Chris, and I think you could as well. I'm a Democrat, and I've worked at Fox for 23 years. I think nobody tells me what to say here. I think it's very important that Democrats penetrate the bubble, if you will, on the right and speak truth as well as it can be spoken. I think the debate, to pick up on Jonathan's point, would be moderated by real journalists. You're my friend, but I'm not saying this because you're my friend. I think you're a real journalist. I think Martha McCallum, Dana Perino, I think I'm a real journalist, Bret Baier. Those are real people who I think would conduct a fair debate. Newt Gingrich, who's sitting here with me, Newt Gingrich and I have been in a Fox debate, and Newt has attacked me, and I've gone at Newt. I think that you can do this, but keep in mind, Fox is the most watched cable channel. So we're going to reach a lot of independents, what I call Reagan Democrats in the Rust Belt, who I think might respond to the Democratic message. And I think that's going to be very important.
Let me pick up on that with you, Speaker Gingrich. As a matter of practical politics, did Tom Perez, the DNC chair, make a smart move, if only because he is bowing to the will of a large and perhaps the most vocal part of his base?
Let me just point out, even though I used to work for Fox before I ran, I got hammered by both you guys in debates. So I think
we really want to go back to Ames, Iowa, and how you went after me?
No, I'm just saying I can attest that you guys will be professional and will go after any weakness in either party. But the bigger issue here is here's the #1 cable news channel, so its reach is bigger than the others. And if you want to be competitive, let's take some examples: Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, and you don't want to be on Fox, you can only go so far with the blue states on the coast on MSNBC and CNN. I think it's a major mistake to say we're now going to shrink as a party because we're afraid to be on Fox. And that's what he said.
All right, I'm going to switch, Shelby, to another subject. I sort of like enough about us. now, what about me? I want to turn to the controversy over Congresswoman Omar this week and her statements about why people in this country, and particularly members of Congress, support Israel. This consumed a lot of oxygen on Capitol Hill this week. Take a look.
I feel confident that her words were not based on any anti-Semitic attitude, but that she didn't have a full appreciation of how they landed on other people where these words have a history.
Support for Israel isn't about the Benjamins. It's about the hearts and minds of the American people.
I asked Congresswoman Hill about this. How disruptive do you think this fight with Omar, with Tlaib, with Ocasio-Cortez, how disruptive is it for House Democrats?
It was a major distraction for them. Certainly. We heard a lot of, not just Nancy Pelosi, we heard a lot of Democratic candidates for president asked about this on the campaign trail. These are not questions they want to be answering at this point. Democrats wanted to focus on their big campaign finance reform bill this week. They didn't have an opportunity to do that. It sucked all of the oxygen out of the room. But I also think at the end of the day, when this resolution passed and it condemned all hate, that may have been a mistake because it allowed Congresswoman Omar to claim victory. She went out on Twitter and said, this is a great day. Islamophobia has been condemned. This was a great step. This was great progress. And at the end of the day, the resolution seemed to backfire a little bit because what they wanted to condemn was ultimately celebrated by the person who made those comments.
Speaker Gingrich, we got about a minute left. You were in this job as Speaker. Did you have times, I was trying to remember when you were Speaker, where you had members that would go off on their own and would disrupt?
Occasionally you did, and occasionally you tried to handle it. But
how'd you deal with them?
Well, not always successfully. I mean, individually elected members who are willing to be tough have access to the media. They can be important in their own way. We're in a different era than the Sam Rayburn era. But what I will say, what hit me this week, not just on this, but a whole range of issues, is that you have in the three top Democrats people who are grandparents. So these folks are all almost 80 years old. And now you have people in their 20s coming in and looking around and going, wait, you're the people who failed. And I think Pelosi's going to have a very hard time getting moral authority over her younger members.
Thank you, panel. See you next Sunday. I don't know. Those leaders seem young and vigorous to me.